All right, let's talk about episode 6, Cape Queer. It's called that because the kid's gay, but also because they have a lot of nods to Cape Fear, starring Robert De Niro in this. They take inspiration from that movie to set up a trap in this episode, and Devon's watching it on his laptop. And at one point in the episode, you have Chucky hanging underneath a car, like Max did in Cape Furies. Just like in Child's Play 2, he did that there also. He was hiding underneath the school bus to follow Andy to school. And this one, he's underneath Junior's car and just hanging out underneath, following them to the therapist's office. So I like that it's a nod to not only Cape Fear, but also to Child's Play 2. And so in this opening, previously on, every episode has a previously on thing, but in this one, it's narrated by Jennifer Tilly, and there's all kinds of Seed of Chucky footage in this one, and there's like a meta joke in it also, like, television rules or something. She says something about television, basically admitting, like, yeah, this is all just a TV show. And so we start with Andy and Kyle in South Carolina trying to track down the melted hand Chucky from Cult of Chucky. And they find him at this house in South Carolina. They're pretending like they're working for the U.S. Census. And then they see the Chucky doll and start blasting it away in front of the parents who don't know why they're doing it. They just are looking at these two grown adults shooting a gun into this doll. And Chucky was about to stab the little girl in the back of the head, but it's a good thing Andy's such a good shot. He could have missed by a hair and just shot her in the back of the head instead, but he shoots Chucky right in the face, and they just keep shooting him. I thought this was the best opening 5 minutes of any episode so far. This was my favorite open. And so, but quick question. So, at the end of Cult of Chucky, wasn't the melted hand Chucky dead? Like, there was armless, crazy hair Chucky, which I assume is the Chucky we're following now, that was at the garage yard sale. Maybe he replaced his arm. There was that Chucky, which is the one that's in this TV series that Jake has. That's my theory. But then at the end of Cult of Chucky, there was not only the armless one, but there was also the melted hand one, and and then there was the head, the stitch face Chucky, the original Chucky from Child's Play 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So but when Melted Hand Chucky went into Nika, Melted Hand Chucky was like lifeless. Like he put his entire soul into Nika. He wasn't like splitting it at that point. So you just had Nika and armless Chucky, and Melted Hand Chucky was no longer possessed. So if that's true at the end of Cult, then this does not work in this opening because they're killing Melted Hand Chucky, who's supposed to not be possessed anymore. But maybe he still was. I don't know. We see that Tiffany is still doing her thing, putting corpses into tight cases. She's putting this dead body in a suitcase. A little callback to when she was stuffing dead Damien in the chest in Bride of Chucky. And she also has the same car from Bride of Chucky. And we see a flashback to 1987, a year before Charles Lee Ray became Chucky. They're buying that car from Bride of Chucky, so that was pretty cool to see. And they slit the guy's throat after he says, "A true classic never goes out of style," another homage. When he's dying, throat slit and all, he's still asking for money. You can hear him on the ground like, "That'll be $1,000. He still cares to get paid. Then they get inside the car, and you can see that he's reading a voodoo book. And he's like, "It's just a hobby, something I'm studying." So he just started studying voodoo, not even like a year before he became an expert. The characters, Jake and Devon, learn about Andy escaping the mental asylum in Rhode Island. So I guess that's where it was in Cult of Chucky. I don't remember them saying where it was in Cult of Chucky, but I looked it up. That is supposed to be the same place. It has the same name as the hospital in Cult. So, and they say like the article that they're reading is only a few weeks old. So all this is happening within like weeks after the end of Cult. It's not like a year later or anything. I'm not sure about the timeline. There might be some issues there. Junior finally dumps Lexi. I was waiting for it because I never saw what he saw in this bitch in episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I guess finally just the jealousy of her hanging out with his cousin made him finally pull the plug and break up with her. Tiffany finds out that Nika has officially taken over control of her body again. And, she stabs her in the leg, and that's how she knows that's Nika now. Because when Chucky has control of the body, he can walk. And when Nika has control of the body, she's paralyzed again. Doesn't make sense, but whatever. So then she goes and buys the childhood home of Chucky that's just been sitting there empty since 1965. And we see that the lady who ate the razor apple in episode 2 is the realtor, and she recognizes Tiffany as Jennifer Tilly, which makes sense. That's the body that she's in. She's not Tiffany's body is somewhere. She's in the grave somewhere. Like, this body is Jennifer Tilly, and so she recognizes her as the actress right away. I'm still waiting to see the Tiffany doll. We still have not seen it, and I thought they were going to show it in this episode because there's a package on the door already. When she buys the house from the realtor lady, she has a package there shaped like a good guy doll package. And I'm thinking it's going to be the Tiffany doll that was in the back seat at the end of Cult. We have yet to see Tiffany as a doll because she's splitting her soul into different things also, like Chucky is. So how come we haven't seen Tiffany yet? I just thought that was weird. You could have had her in the hotel room also. Like, where's Tiffany? Maybe she's in episode 7. Haven't watched it yet. But I'm still waiting for Tiffany, and I'm still waiting to see if Glenn or Glenda are going to make an appearance. In this episode, Miss F gets arrested. She alluded to the fact that she was a problem child when she was trying to connect with Lexi and be like, I know what it's like. I used to be in your shoes, but whatever, So that is the reason why she's a suspect now. She gets arrested because of her delinquent past. And so then the mom of Junior gets killed. A bunch of moms get killed in this episode, and it was so sad. There's a lot of good drama and character moments in this episode, especially between Bree, played by Lexa Doig, if that's how you say her last name. There's good moments between her and her son, and there's a lot of good drama in this episode. This one has some of the best character moments, and it's one of my favorite episodes so far, and weirdly enough, it barely has Chucky in it until like the last 5-10 minutes. I was wondering, like, man, where the hell is Chucky? He is absent for a lot of this episode. You get Nika Chucky, but you don't get Chucky until the last act of this episode. So it just, dawned on me at some point. I was like, oh yeah, where the hell is Chucky? But I was still enjoying all the character moments. But he pushes the mom, who just revealed to her family that she has cancer and she's only got a few months to live, and she's like, I refuse treatment. I'm just going to live every day, the best I can. I'm going to make the most of what I have left. And then she just dies right after that. And they all think that she committed suicide, but there's no fucking way that window would break that easy in a building like that. Like, they would make those windows very hard to break. Like, he pushes that thing into her, and she had so much time to get out of the way. It reminded me of Final Destination 5. Same thing, like, big building, like, many floors up. She just trips over her own foot and falls out the window. It's like, bullshit. It would take a lot to break that, I would hope. And I love this moment. It's so fucked up. Dude, Junior would never recover from this. He is going to be a psychopath by the end of this season. If he's not, I'll be shocked, because he's going to be scarred. His mom falls on the car, her face through the windshield, just looking him in the eyes, dead. As this weird song plays over the whole thing, Trampoline, that song, and it was just such a fucked up moment. I liked that. It was pretty cruel. And then later on, we get another mom dying, but we see Devon coming out to his mom. He comes out of the closet and admits that he likes Jake, and she accepts him still anyway. She's like, I still love you. So it's not like with Jake and his dad. She actually is okay with her son being gay. And so they have like this nice moment. And then later on that night, she arrives at Jake's house for some reason. I forget what brought her there, but she's there as they set up this whole like trap inspired by the movie Cape Fear. And he jumps out of like the air vent, very much like in Child's Play 1. And he's like, hey, Devon, watch this. And then she ends up falling down this long flight of stairs and breaks her neck at the bottom and dies. Like, how many moms are going to get killed in this episode? It was pretty fucking crazy. I like that they were talking about their favorite final girls. They were talking about horror movies. Felt like Scream. Like, who's your favorite final girl? And he's like, Laurie Strode, hands down. I gotta say, she's not the best final girl. Like, if you just take Halloween 1 alone, she's a terrible final girl. All she does is run screaming and drop the knife 4 or 5 times. She's terrible. She's not that great of a final girl until you get to, like, the sequels. You know, Erin from You're Next, to me, is, like, one of the best final girls in horror history. And Jenny from Friday the 13th Part 2. Like, not Laurie Strode. Sorry, she's overrated. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. We get a fake-out scare at one point. Not a fan of that shit. It's so stupid. Like, hand on the shoulder, like, oh, you startled me. So, like, why wouldn't you just call that person's name from across the room? Be like, hey, you know, Jake. Instead, you gotta sneak up and, like, grab them on the shoulder and scare them. When they're holding a weapon, they could just easily, like, turn around and smack you in the face thinking you're Chucky. Like, what are you thinking? Just say their name across the room. Hey, Jake. You know? So, it's such a trope. I can't stand it. Chucky, at one point, is telling Lexi to kill Jake. Like, I'll let you live if you kill Jake. And, you know, at first she's pretending like she's going to do it. Like, yeah, okay, Chucky, I'll kill Jake. And then, you know, he realizes that Jake's behind him because he's walking so slow. Like, just fucking run up and beat him in the head. Like, why is he sneaking up on him? Like, he could have ran up and got it over with. Like, pull it off like a Band-Aid. Just get it done. Like, he was just tiptoeing closer and closer, then the floor creaks, and then Chucky realizes he's there, slides underneath his legs and slices at his thigh. And then I had a good laugh when Devon takes his taser gun and, like, hits Chucky with it, and it goes flying across the hall. That was pretty funny. So yeah, and that's the end of the episode. The mom dying pretty brutally, falling down the stairs. So yeah, episode 6, definitely a standout, one of my favorites so far. I'll give episode 6, Cape Queer, 4 out of 5 stars. I really like this one. Still not great. Could have used more Chucky in it. So yeah, what are your thoughts on Cape Queer episode 6? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video for episode 7.